All right. Welcome to another episode of the Knucklehead Chronicles podcast, man. It's been a while since I've done one of these. A lot of things has happened. So we're going to, I'm trying to catch you guys up, man. So just stay tuned with me. What's going on, you guys? What's happening? I tell you, oh man, a lot of things have happened since the last time we talked, man. Let's see. Yeah, I had to move my chair. Y'all forgive me. So the last episode I gave you guys was the beginning of the Knucklehead Chronicles and why I'm here and why I do what I do. But a lot of things have happened, so we're going to ditch that for a second. And that was just, that was the beginning of the podcast. So we are actually going to, I'm going to bypass that for a sec. And on this episode, the topic today is going to be Welcome to Jumanji, round 2. So if you guys are familiar with Jumanji and that game, and how you get into this great big old funk and you try to get out of the game, and you have to do certain things to get out of the game. So, but every round gets worse, right? So, since the last time we talked, me and my family and I have moved cross country. Now we now reside in Missouri. When we talked before, I was living in Idaho, but we have moved cross country to Missouri. The last live stream that I did was on Christmas Day. I was saying goodbye to Idaho and all the people that I ran into in Idaho and I ran with. Transitioning to another region of the country is sometimes difficult, right? Leaving what you knew, leaving what was normal to you or has been normal to you for the last 4 years and going to a different region of the country, that's difficult, right? That's always got that going on. But the transition, if you're wondering, has been wonderful. We moved here. There are a lot of services for the boys. My son Javante, who's 11, and my son TJ, who's 3, who they both have. TJ was diagnosed as autistic at 2, 1.5, I think, and Javante just got his recent diagnosis of autism, but he also struggles with behavioral issues. And so what we're hoping is that we get to these programs here in Missouri, and he can kind of get a grip and try to, what's the word? Trying to get a better grip on how to handle himself outside of the home. So that's kind of what we're hoping. And I think that we're in a good place for it. This is a college town here in Missouri that we live in. So the dynamics is a lot different, because coming from Idaho, where it was predominantly white, and you had your issues, you had your people, you had your drug problems and all that good stuff. But that's kind of everywhere, right? But we're in a different area. It's more condensed, it's more diverse. So you have, you have more issues with that. So we just, we're going to keep to ourselves and do what we're supposed to do and live our life, and we have a beautiful home. And, we're going to make it do what it do. All right. So welcome to another episode of the Knucklehead Chronicles podcast. I am your boy, the Guru Terry. Terry, the Guru. I said it backwards. And so, getting ready for season 2 of the Knucklehead Chronicles, the group panel that's going to go down, or that premieres on next Sunday, the 17th of January. And I'm excited about that. I'm hoping that I can get the guest that I'm shooting for. If I get the guest that I'm shooting for, it's going to be a pretty good episode, because we're going to talk about the unwhitewashing of American history. If I can get the guys that I want to get. So stay tuned for that. Also, the Knucklehead Chronicles is going syndicated radio. The group panel is going syndicated radio with me and Dewey Goodson and Kevin Peoples, Ephraim Terrell. We're going to premiere on the 17th, the season premiere of the Knucklehead Chronicles, on Sound FM, Sound Machine FM radio. And I'm excited about that one. All right, so let me get into what we're talking about today. With the civil unrest, you guys are, unless you lived under a rock and you missed the unsuccessful attempt at a coup on last Wednesday at the Washington Capitol. I'm not sure why you missed that. But if you did, shame on you. If you missed it and you caught up, that's great too. Okay, so of course we know that there was an unsuccessful attempt or a coup that is on the nation's capital on this past Wednesday. You had thousands of people who went to a Trump rally, a President Trump support type rally that Wednesday morning in D.C. And now I just want to say this, that everything I'm going to say is just, in Terry's opinion, because I don't want the people to listen to this and go, well, you just, you stay in your lane, you're positive. No, I'm just letting you know, this is just my opinion. My opinion is President Trump incited this rally, or incited a riot at his rally, and he told his people to go down or to march down to the Capitol building and fight for what's right and all that good stuff. So he incited all of this. So these folks, these knuckleheads, these Nimrods went down to the Washington Capitol, stormed the Capitol building, got in, busted out windows, and just did a lot of things. These dudes were in the actual House chamber, sitting in chairs that was just occupied by Vice President Pence, Nancy Pelosi, and all of these folks, and all of our senators. They were in there confirming the Senate, confirming Joe Biden as the next president. So what they were attempting to do was to stop the count, or because they didn't want the Senate to confirm Joe Biden as president. So those of you who have been following this, there's so much to unpack when it comes to this. There's so much to unpack because President Trump that morning, I'll try to start somewhere. I don't have a good starting point, but let's start somewhere. President Trump had been dog whistling to Mike Pence for the past, week, or 2 weeks or whatever, and was convinced that Mike Pence would go in because he is the president of the Senate, that he would overturn the election somehow before they can confirm. Now, I'm not sure why President Trump thought he would do that, because Mike Pence's role in the confirming was just to it's strictly according to the Constitution was simply ceremonial. He was just there to announce the winner. And how the process worked is that if the electors or the people in the Senate went to object, they could. They had to have it in writing from a senator and a member of the House of Representatives, and then they can debate, and then they can decide whether or not they want to object to the findings of the elector votes in those particular states. So for some reason, President Trump thought that Mike Pence could overturn this, and I'm like, why would he? But President Trump is a wannabe dictator. He wanted Mike to simply overturn the election. And I'm like, that's silly. But anyways, so about maybe 20 minutes into the count, this is when this coup started, or the attempted coup started. And when you think about it, it's kind of the craziest thing. To watch it, to witness it, it was like, are you serious? These folks were able to breach the Capitol building, bust out windows, overrun the cops. They were overwhelmed, the cops were. But we'll get into that in a minute, because like I said, there's so much to unpack, right? So these folks stormed the Capitol building, and I'm watching it, and I'm not laughing when I'm watching it, but I'm laughing, going, these guys must be crazy. They must be on some kind of death wish. But apparently, later found out that there were cops that were siding with these people, and they were letting them in. There's video of these cops letting them in. And I'm like, what? Like, I don't understand. So, of course, social media goes nuts. There's all kinds of viral videos, TikToks, you name it, it kind of came out. There was actually, there were pictures. It was a meme. It was a great picture. It was a meme of the BLM protesters that went to Washington back in June, back in the summer, and how they had the SWAT team in tactical gear on the White House, on the Capitol Hill steps. They were in tactical SWAT gear, right? So it's a picture of that, and then you have the picture of what happened on Wednesday. Now, the BLM movement didn't even get close to the Capitol building, and they had SWAT and tactical gear. Now, these folks who created this or tried to have this unsuccessful attempt at a coup, they were able to breach Capitol Hall. Now, I don't, again, these are my opinions, and I will say this: if that's not a level of white privilege, I do not know what is. I don't. BLM protesters didn't get anywhere near the Capitol steps, but these folks were able to breach Capitol building. Now, as goofy as it was, there were some people that did some crazy stuff. I think one of the guys that had a picture taken of him, he was sitting in Nancy Pelosi's desk in her office. His name was James Bennett out of Arkansas. What level of hate do you have to have? What level of sheep do you have to have to listen to the dog whistle of Donald Trump? And now you have created a federal crime. Now you're going to everybody that was involved and that they have pictures of and video of storming chamber doors. I mean, can you imagine being in there? These senators and Congress people and representatives, they're running for their lives. They're running for their lives because they got people in there with guns and all that. There was a siege. There's a picture of armed police inside of the Capitol building that were barricaded at the chamber door, guns drawn, because people were coming in. Nothing in American history has happened like that before. Now, if anybody's listening, and I want to shout out T. Nathan on TikTok, and I speak on TikTok and consciously on TikTok. Listen, you will hear people say, well, the Black Panthers did it back in 1967. That's not true. And this is like, again, shout out to T. Nathan and them, because they teach me something all the time. That's why I watch them on TikTok. And what happened in 1967 was the Black Panthers stormed the Capitol building in California. And they didn't even breach it like these folks did. What they did was, at the time in 1967, open carry was a thing. It was legal, fully legal in California. So what the Black Panthers did and what these folks did was not even close to being the same. Not even close, right? But then, you watch these folks and you're watching their social media and you're thinking to yourself, why, right? Then these dudes and these folks have the audacity to put this attempted coup in the same level, in the same bracket as BLM. Seriously? They were talking about with the rioting and the looting and all that good stuff. Listen, Donald Trump did back in June, back when Black Lives Matter was a thing, and he set out some just this very interesting tweet or thing. He said, when the looting starts, the shooting starts. This is what Donald Trump said, his words. But excuse me, nothing happened to these protesters. This is what he said about This is what he said about the protesters when he finally did come out. He said, "I want you guys to all go home. We love you. You're a special people." This is what he said. And then people gonna have the nerve to say that he wasn't inciting a riot. Also, and then after that, these fools try to blame Antifa.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Antifa? Somebody please, in any one of my social media platforms, anyone in these podcast platforms, please put in the comments for me, who is the leader of Antifa? I would love to know. Excuse me. I was asking one of my homeboys, I was asking one of my other podcast co-hosts, A.D. Walker, and I was going to work the other day, and we were talking, and I said, A.D., I said, who is the leader of Antifa? And he said, nobody. I mean, so why are they quick to, put up Antifa? Here's the other thing. These were avid Trump supporters who love that man to the teeth. But here's the thing, and what these people, even the Trump supporters, I don't understand this. If you make under a certain amount of money, he'll even like you. That's white or black. That's white or black. Doesn't have anything to do with color. It's a fact. If you're rich or poor, right? So these redneck folks that ride with Trump, which is fine. I mean, your political affiliation has nothing to do with Terry, right? But it's silly to me that you can see this attempted coup and then still try to justify it in your brain. Let me tell the people this. BLM, just for the record, BLM was a protest for the fact that we were being killed in the streets. And we wanted justice for being killed in the streets. This attempted coup was Cole Johnson. Shout out to Cole Johnson. He said in one of the Brothers of Legacy broadcasts in the morning, and he said this was a 20,000 person temper tantrum. That's all it was. BLM was protesting the killing of unarmed black men in the street, and all we wanted was justice. This attempted coup was a 20,000 person temper tantrum. We, sir, ma'am, are not the same. So don't group this attempted coup in with BLM and then blame Antifa. That's the problem with the world. They don't want to take responsibility for their actions. They know good and well what they were doing. It was set up. Donald Trump knew exactly what they were doing. Okay, and there's a couple of side stories that came out of this. Right? There's one side story that And I think it's a Photoshop. I think the media can twist stuff every now and then. Well, more often than not, I'll say that. And so there was this video. I'm not sure who put it out, but it was it looked like Donald Trump had a viewing party of some sort, like an after party or whatever. And they were trying to attach this after party or this viewing party to what was going on in D.C. Now, there's nothing founded that said that Donald Trump was actually having a viewing party. Excuse me, while this was going on at the Capitol. I mean, I know he's an evil dude, but I know he ain't that crazy. I mean, I don't know. I mean, but it just seemed like, it's crazy. And then there was a viral video of this young lady. I can't think of her name right now. But they caught her outside, they interviewed her, they said, "Hey, what happened to you?" And she said, "Hey, I got 1 foot into the Capitol building and then I got amazed. And she was trying to wipe her eyes into a towel. Now, I found upon further inspection of this towel, there was actually an onion in the towel. So if you get a chance to look at that video, and it went completely viral, and they've already made some incredible memes about it. I'm telling you, the internet is undefeated. Always will be, always have been, always will be. And so it's amazing. But anyways, this lady, wiped her eyes with an onion inside of a towel to make herself cry. It's a revolution and all that good stuff. I think it was the craziest thing on the planet. And there was another so the next thing is that there's a lot of debate about, well, not necessarily debate. I guess it depends on which side you're on here. Now, I have my personal opinion is that I have no emotions about this one way or the other. And this is what happened. Young lady out of, I forget what she was from, Colorado. Either way, she went across the country to this DC rally. Diehard Trump supporter, 13-year vet. And no, I won't say her name because I'm not going to give her any credence. But this young lady went cross country to this particular rally, tried to breach the Capitol building. This was the first lady that was shot and killed by Capitol Police on this insurrection. I hope it was worth it. And I can't even say I feel sorry. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't even say I feel sorry because that was crazy. That was crazy. And I don't understand. I mean, it's kind of sad, but at the same time, it wasn't. I mean, it was like, that's what you get. You talking junk. They pulled up her Twitter account. After her passing, they pulled up her Twitter, and she sent a tweet over to, I want to say Stacey Abrams, I think it was, and out of Georgia, and it was a tweet about somebody throw Stacey Abrams a box of Popeye's chicken so we can get an actual count in Georgia. And stuff like that. You kind of read. The old saying goes, you reap what you sow. You live by the gun, you die by the gun. We can go back and forth about that all day. You reap what you sow, you live by the gun, you die by the gun. And she went out there. She got what she got, and here we are. There was another young man, Michael Gleason, I think is what his name was. Same thing. Went out there, diehard Trump. Went out there, and he actually killed. He died when he tased himself in the testicles and had a heart attack.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
I don't mean to laugh. Well, actually, I do. But I don't mean to sound insensitive. Let me say that. But he tased himself in the crotch and he had a heart attack. All of this was just crazy. All of it was just crazy. This attempted coup, crazy. He wasn't going to turn anything over. He wasn't going to stop anything. Mike Pence was not going to overturn nothing. Mike Pence has his own political career. I don't understand the logic in this thing. But I guess, Donald Trump and this whole unsuccessful attempt at a coup at the same time he exposed a lot. He exposed the hate in this country. He exposed police corruption. Because you can't tell me that January the 6th wasn't on somebody's calendar at their police station. Because you knew that President Trump was going to have a rally. You knew that this dude is off his rocker. You knew. And so somebody knew something. Somebody knew. You can't tell me he didn't. Right? But he exposed a lot of things. Some things that he exposed, those things were right up under the surface. And they were there, but not really exposed. But he kicked the doors open with this. And society now has to go back. I'm not sure what's going to happen next. That's why I say this is Jumanji round 2. Because we don't know. Right? Joe Biden has made a lot of promises going into the White House. He said in his first 100 days, we're going to give out the corona vaccine. I'm not sure who's going to take it. I'm not. This is my personal opinion. Again, first 100 days, he's going to pass $2,000 stimulus checks. This is what he said. And just so if you're listening to me, this is what he said. He said that if we flip Georgia and gave him the House, the Senate, that those stimulus checks would pass, and we get $2,000. Now, not that I'm really big on the money and all that, because I don't never see any stimulus because of my child support issues, but that's neither here nor there. But I hope that people don't think that Joe Biden is the savior. I'm not saying that, not one iota, right? But what I am saying is that we have to hold his feet to the fire. So I'm hoping that we do. Going back to President Trump, I think that he's got 2 weeks left of his presidency. Joe Biden is inaugurated on January 20th. And so there's rumblings from what I've heard. I've listened on CNN. I've listened to everyone else. Now, there are some rumblings that they may invoke the 25th Amendment. So just so people understand that's listening to this, when they invoke the 25th, that has to be started up by Mike Pence. The vice president has to start that proceeding. If Mike Pence does not jump on board the 25th Amendment, now the House can say, hey, well, let's impeach him. At least if we impeach him the third time, he can't run again in 2024. Because I can almost guarantee that a lot of people do not want to repeat of what happened these last 4 years, right? But you never know. Trump has some very, very loyal supporters. So me personally, I'm all for revoking the 25th and getting him out of office. That would be me. That would be my vote. If I was in the Senate, that would be my vote. Because he's dangerous. If you guys don't understand the depths of his danger, you guys really watch some of his past stuff. Now, Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and all social media platforms has actually suspended his account and permanently banned him. So he was suspended for 12 hours. After the coup, they reinstated him. He started back up. They banned him permanently. So it's just you have to be careful with this dude, because he's still sitting there with the nuclear football in his desk. He still has that power. So as long as he's carrying that power uptown, it could be dangerous. He could still put into place martial law. There's a lot of things he still can do. to jack up. And it's just like, it's just like a boyfriend and girlfriend, they break up. And then he gets mad and breaks everything in the house. That's what Donald Trump is doing. That's what Donald Trump is doing. Donald Trump, he's the boyfriend that he got divorced or they broke up. And Donald Trump is going to break everything on the way out. He's going to break everything on the way out. Why? Because, the level of petty. That's how some people do. The level of petty. But I'm hoping that in this new year with Joe Biden as president, I hope that we can, as a country, start to heal a little bit. We've been through a lot in these 4 years. And with Donald Trump's handling of the coronavirus, it was just wrong. 300,000 Americans, last count that I heard or saw, have lost their lives to coronavirus. My wife's grandmother, who passed away of COVID in September, that's how I knew coronavirus hit my family. And it was rough out here. So I don't know. So I hope it's a better year. I hope we get this stimulus. This country needs to be elevated. We are in a period of healing. We have to have it as a country. There are so many people that want to go back to life as normal. I don't think it's going to ever go back to life as normal. That's just me, though, right? I think that we're going to get to a place where we are comfortable in our new normality. But we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. There's really no guarantees. I know a lot of our frontline workers are taking the coronavirus vaccine. I think we're on our way to getting a little bit better there in that arena. We don't know yet, though. We still don't know. I haven't heard any stories about, whether or not the vaccine was has created some side effects, because all vaccines create some kind of side effects. If you take it, some are worse than others. But I'm not sure if I don't know. It's the thought of it. I personally won't take it. Because then again, I don't know. I might take it. I might have a change of heart and take it. Because I have a family. I have a son who is autistic. I have a son, and my wife is not compromised, but she has asthma, and so she gets. So I may take it. I don't know if it's given to me. I'll take it. Maybe I don't know. That's up in the air yet. But what I want people to do, my listeners on the Knucklehead Chronicles podcast, if you are a praying person, if you believe in a higher power, pray. We're in that season to where we need to pray, because I think our best days are ahead of us, but we still got some dark ones. We still got to get to Joe's inauguration, because I feel like the Proud Boys are not out of the equation yet. I don't see a lot of Proud Boys in that attempted coup. But at the same time, I just think they're dangerous as well. Everybody that was involved in that, like I said before, should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. These young men that sat in these chamber chairs, sat next to Mr. Bennett, who sat next to Pelosi's desk, I think they should go away. Fair time, 30 years at least. There was a young black man that was standing in the hall chamber, looking like he had no idea of what was going on. But you just set yourself up for 30 years in prison, brother. But that's another episode altogether. It was really crazy. We are in a sticky time. and it can go either way. If I had a vote, we got to get Trump out of office because he's still carrying power right now. Mike Pence, he needs to step up and invoke the 25th. There's so much debate about, what's the purpose of invoking or impeaching him, and that's the reason why. So that way he can't reach out and vote again. To run again. But to remove him now and give Mike Pence the power until chosen inauguration will be the best, because you just don't know what this man is going to do. Even though Twitter has permanently banned his President Donald J. Trump account, he still got on somebody else's account and was still tweeting. I think Twitter caught it too. I think they got all of his aliases, but you just don't know to the extent of what this man was willing to do. Right? So let's do this. Let's pray as a people, as a country. Let's get back to as close to normal as possible, if we can help it. All right. So I'm going to get out of here, but listen, on the way out the door, I want you guys to understand this. Our next group panel, the Knucklehead Chronicles podcast with me, Ephraim, D Good, and Kevin Peoples season 2 will premiere on November the 17th at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So be on the lookout for that. Hopefully I can get my guys that I want to get for guests for the season 2 premiere. And if I get them, hey, you might want to watch. You may want to stay tuned. It's gonna be crazy. Don't forget to visit the website, the Knucklehead Chronicles Podcast.com. You can get you can actually view the podcast, the live stream, the group panel anyway. I do not record I don't live stream my personal podcast, but the group panel, you can go and look at some of my past guests. You can look at some of the live streams, all that on the Knucklehead Chronicles Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, the Knucklehead Chronicles Podcast.com. That's what it is across all social media platforms. So join us. All right. So until next time, you guys have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next podcast.